A viewer of my streams recently recommended that I test out the USB version of this microphone right here, which was already pretty intriguing, but I realized that they also had an XLR version for just $10 more. XLR is a lot more flexible, so I wanted to give this a try. So can I get a $60 microphone to sound good? Or, even better, can this microphone already deliver on good sound? Well, introducing the Mackie EM-91C. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, don't forget that I have a Twitch channel that you can go ahead and follow me on for live microphone reviews and much more than that. But you're also going to find my Instagram and a link to the Tech Summit Discord in the description. So come join the community because it is a pretty cool one. We've also opened up a Patreon as of late where if you join, you'll be automatically entered to win one tech gadget every month in our exclusive giveaways. Details to that are going to be down below. Don't forget to check out the description for everything. Now let's get right into the video. I'm going to be recording this entire review with this microphone so that you can get a pretty good sense of what this microphone sounds like for content creation. I'm also going to be streaming with this microphone tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time so that you can ask all of your questions live. So links to my Twitch are going to be down below. So let's begin with an unboxing. It comes in a pretty simple box with the microphone itself, the shock mount as well, and even an XLR cable. Pretty simple, but it does come with pretty much everything that you're going to be needing. Though you will still be needing a mic arm or stand in order to be able to hold this up, but I think that that's pretty fair. And the exterior design of this microphone consists of metal. Though this is not a very hefty microphone, it's more lightweight than I was expecting, but this is really all forgiven considering the price and what is included in the box. And speaking of which, the shock mount itself is comprised of metal too, and it is pretty good. It's easy to mount and install the microphone onto it too, which is great, but most importantly, shock absorption for it is pretty fantastic for what it is. I would consider this to be a pretty cool bundle, but we still have a lot to talk about, especially regarding performance. So let's go ahead and dive into that in just a sec. So this is a cardioid condenser microphone that is addressed from the front just like this, and this microphone has a frequency response of 20 Hz to 18 kHz. And now let's get into the actual sound test. I'm going to be doing this portion without any kind of background music so that you can hear what this microphone really sounds like on its own. Also, I'm recording this portion while using the Yamaha MG10XU audio interface with it. This is the audio interface that I've been using this entire time as well. So on its own, this microphone is actually pretty quiet and does require quite a bit of gain to get decent results out of it, even after turning on phantom power, since that's a requirement for a condenser microphone. However, in terms of its sound quality, I would say that it's okay. This is because it does sound to me like a cheap microphone and that it doesn't really sound like it was tuned properly. There doesn't seem to be a specific sound that this is really going for, whether it's flat, presence boosted, better for podcasts. It just sounds like not much thought really went into the tuning of this microphone for people who just wanted to use it as it is right out of the box. And I will say one thing though. This microphone does handle plosives pretty well, so I wouldn't really go nuts over finding a great pop filter for it, and I think that it's handled plosives up to this point like a champ. And now onto the EQ test. I actually ended up finding that boosting just about everything on this microphone would probably be the best way to go, and I was able to squeeze quite a bit of, good sound quality out of it. So I went ahead and increased the highs and the mids, and slightly raised the lows as well, because I felt like that was probably the best way of going about it in this case, and I would say that this microphone does sound considerably better now. And not to mention that I also added a little bit of compression here because I felt like it could certainly benefit from something like that. And just so you know, because I do prefer this sound profile, I'm going to be doing the rest of this review, this configuration as is. So let's go ahead and talk about complaints, of which there are going to be some, but I won't be too harsh on that. I really wish that this microphone had been tuned better for out-of-the-box use, because as it is, I don't think it's a good sound whatsoever, and would probably recommend trying the USB model for $10 less if this is the kind of sound that you would be getting. But this was mostly compensated for through an EQ. The mic itself is also a little bit lighter than I would expect it to be, but I think that the build is actually fine here. Don't really have much of an issue with that, but I did think that it was worth mentioning. Which leads me directly into my conclusion. This is a poor sounding microphone that can be made better through an EQ. However, because you would probably want to invest in an interface that does have EQ settings applied to it, then you might find yourself spending quite a bit of money on your setup overall, even when trying to save money by going with a cheaper microphone like this one. I think that this microphone is not really worth it, whether you already have an interface or not, since if you do have an interface of sorts with an EQ, you might as well just spend the money from this microphone on a mono AU300 HD dynamic mic, or an extra $10 for the Samsung Q2U if you need fantastic sound rejection and not to mention great sound already out of the box, which are both much better than this microphone in my opinion, and even work over USB if you don't have an interface, so they are going to be hybrid microphones in that sense, USB and XLR at the same time. In other words, I don't really recommend buying this microphone unless you really liked its distinct sound, but to be honest, I'm not really a fan personally. And if you're still interested in purchasing this microphone, or perhaps any of the other microphones that I mentioned as alternatives to this, then I'll be making sure to leave affiliate links down to Amazon in the description. And there's also going to be ABUNDA in case you decide to go for any of these. You can go ahead and finance it pretty simply, especially if you also wanted to pick up a nice audio interface with your new microphone. So I am going to be leaving links down below to both of those, and if you click on either one, I do get a commission that does help with the channel quite a bit, so I would appreciate that quite a bit. And that financing is without having to open up a new credit card or anything like that. It's super simple, just about anyone can do it, so I really recommend it. There's also going to be Luster. If you need help, I like searching around for like other types of products that are just like this. It'll give you a tier list, especially if you're shopping on Amazon, but it also works on a bunch of other places, so I really recommend that you install that because it can be a very useful tool for helping you find discounts or sales or anything like that online. I would also like to give a very special thanks to the tier 3 patrons, the $10 patrons, who really do help us out quite a lot in being able to maintain this channel. Saad, Al Wazel, Omar, and Joe Moss. Thank you so much for your contribution over here because it really does go a very long way. Again, thank you. And now for the rest of the tier 2s, $5 patron. So here we go. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. And now don't forget to follow me on the rest of my social media, such as my Instagram and my Twitch, of course, since I will be streaming with this tonight, as I regularly do microphone reviews, both recorded and edited like this, and I tend to go live with them too. So with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.